So let's talk about the Gout Gout situation. I'll be honest, there are some topics that I really don't have the time to make a fully edited video and go through my thoughts. So I decided, if people really want to know what I'm thinking about it, then I'll just make a rant video. Entirely unedited, entirely unfiltered. These are my raw reactions. I haven't even done that much information, or at least research, to dig up on what happened. I'm just going straight off of what I know at the moment. As far as this situation is concerned, yes, the young man ran 20.29 seconds at 16 years old, and he represents Australia. Those are at least the baseline of the facts, the way that I understand them. It is special. I'm not saying that it isn't. But there's a whole lot more that we have to pay attention to. Because first, I am aware that the world is always looking for the next Usain Bolt. I think most track fans are aware. He is not going to show up. That was a once in a generation type thing. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if it's going to come again in history. But hey, that's another conversation. As far as what the young man is doing, he just signed with Adidas. I do hear that. He's running out of Australia, and Anderson Emerald of the final leg, who I'm inclined to believe, said that Gout Gout is already one of the 5 fastest men to ever run the 200 in Australia. That is his primary event. But these are the things that stand out in my mind. At 16 years old, he went to the World Junior Championship this past year, and he didn't win. He got second in the 200. He ran about 20.6 on that track. It is impressive, but let's really talk about the World Juniors and be honest about what that meet actually is. It's supposed to be a meet for athletes who are under 20 years old. But to be real, if you're showing up to World Juniors and you are not 16, 17, you're probably not the best 18 and 19-year-olds in the world. Because if you were, you'd probably be running at the pro level. Arian Knighton did it, skipped out on World Juniors. He was running pro by that point. Christian Miller didn't go this year. And that's after dropping 9.9 in the 100 multiple times. This is no shade against him. I think it was kind of a lose-lose situation. As far as if he wins, he just did what he's supposed to do. And if he loses, well, you were supposed to be the fastest. Dwight didn't go. And he did sign pro. I believe that is with Puma. Yeah, that's with Puma at the moment. Gout Gout signed with Adidas. And that means he's foregoing all of his NCAA eligibility. Personally speaking, this is really interesting as far as how that's going to go. Because for an athlete like him, internationally, and the NCAA takes a lot of international athletes. We saw that at the Olympics already. You had Sean Maswanganyi, who ran an entire career at Houston, showed up to the Olympics this year, makes the 100 semifinal, and now he is an Olympic medalist in the 4x1. And his teammate Louis Hinchliffe of Great Britain, he was a transfer from Washington State, but yeah, he's also an Olympic medalist now in the 4x1. So the NCAA does a good job with international athletes, and Gout Gout's not a part of that at all. So him turning pro means you basically got to put up numbers. You got to put them up right now. Okay, by right now I mean like 2025 and down. And that's at 16. And when he signed with Adidas, this is my other thought about that. Most people ain't been paying attention, but Adidas mops up all of the young talent. When I say all, I mean all of it. At least all of it that we would find pretty readily available. Cheikhna Traore, who was at Penn State, won the NCAA championship. He was running for Cote d'Ivoire in the Olympics. But they signed him to a contract. Most people weren't paying attention. The NCAA champion from the year before, I'm going off of memory here, I'm pretty sure it was Udodi Onwuzurike. He was running for Stanford. He technically turned pro early and signed with Adidas. You probably weren't paying attention to either of those names when they were at the games, but they were there. They just weren't in the final. And from what I understand, I believe they're training with Noah Lyle's training group with his head coach, Lance Browman. So this whole Gout Gout going to train with them, do some base training thing, that's a fun conversation. But until we know who Gout Gout is really going to train with, like going forward, like until we really know who he's working with, it's hard to get any real understanding of how he's going to develop. We just know that Australia hasn't developed that type of talent in the past. I would like to believe we can remember it. I don't think they've ever had anybody break 20 in the 200, like in the history of that nation. If Gout Gout is going to be the next Usain Bolt, quote unquote, which, let's be honest, he's probably not. But if that was going to happen, let's be real about what we're actually saying. Because the Bolt you remember from 2008, that man was 21 years old. He was doing crazy things at the world junior level prior to that, yes, and he was doing it around 16. But 21 is when he showed up looking like that. And that was an Olympic year, which is very important because the next Olympic year for Gout Gout is going to be when he's 20 years old. At about that moment, Bolt was good enough to make the world championship final in the 2, but he wasn't getting the medal while he was there. Are people going to look at him as a success as far as like as a phenom if he's roughly in that spot, Olympic semifinalist, maybe knocking on the door of the final? Because you probably weren't paying attention when there were 2 college athletes in the Olympic final in the 200. They were both running for Zimbabwe, and they actually finished at the back of the pack in that final race. So my point, we really only noticed the people way out in front. And that 20.29 was so impressive because Gout Gout was way out in front on a field that really can't run with somebody of his talent. We're just being honest. We're going to have to give him time. And I don't know if track fans or the frenzy that's around the name right now are going to be able to handle the amount of time he might need to take to get anything close to the level that we think he's capable of. We do know that he's, at least when I look at him run, he does look pretty raw. So I think there's a lot of potential there. But I'm just saying we need to kind of temper our expectations for what this is going to be. When you become a pro, you are not a phenom anymore. You are just a professional. And professionals are supposed to put up numbers. It's the reason why Arian Knighton is not a phenom anymore. He was 4th at the Olympics all the way back in 2021. He was 4th again in 2024. That was not the plan. He was in the exact same spot. Nobody's talking about him like a phenom anymore. He's just somebody who are waiting to figure out how to get a medal. And he does have a world championship medal. I'm not taking that away from him. But he's not the fastest man in the nation. The only time he won USA's was when Noah Lyles didn't show up. So, I guess I'm just going to kind of sit on this one because I know he's got talent. I know that he could be the next something, but it's highly premature for anybody to crown him that. And I'm focusing on the World Junior Championships that we just saw because Beyonce Walaza, who beat him, was 18 years old. He was 18 years old. And the time that Gout Gout ran, it was good, but competitively, that just tells me there are other athletes who are within his window, his age, who are young. Remember, Christian Miller wasn't there. And America didn't even send our first or second fastest high school sprinters. Both of them had other arrangements going on. Our second fastest was playing college football at this point. He's a freshman now at LSU. So I'm not saying he didn't run with nobody, but there's a whole bunch of other bodies, quote unquote, that he could be running with. So yeah, let's temper our expectations. As far as content like this, if you really want more of my unfiltered, raw reactions, opinions, I'm planning on doing a channel membership, and that's probably where you would get it because I can always throw the camera up and I can just tell you what I'm actually thinking. But in order to do like a full-on video, edited and we can't do that all the time. But I can certainly give you more of this. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you think I talk too much, I get it. I respect it. You ain't got to watch. But if you do, if anything I say actually connects with you, I do appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. So there we are.